I know, me too. Thank you. Yep. I know.
Previously, we only lived in.
But I mean, I do. Yes, yeah. Alex coming because it just. Yeah. I feel like. So busy, but also like when I try to say, that's okay. I don't rob, I don't know. My it's not like you know, I'm struggling. Savior. It's not really. Yeah, it's locked out. Yeah, I'm realizing like that. So that's like you asked me.
I got it.
I'm like,
I understand.
That's under your eyes. Everywhere.
No, you're never done.
Yeah, I know, I like that. Nice try. It's still been done. You know what? It's just
Little people, little problems.
Fingers back to. Oh, stop. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I have one. They're like that. I go to this house. Great to be. But right now. They don't. So then. Yeah. Because it takes the dead skin off. I'm sorry. They have still. Yeah. Well, that was my mom. I was trying to find dry. I know, yeah. You two other one here. Yeah. Because. This here.
We just get my life together.
So like, I put my, when I do my serum or any, and also I do it. Oh, so maybe to ask her to drink ways, but yours. So I'm still challenged. Yeah, somebody and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, so then this is like, but, you know, but yeah, red ones are working on it, red ones. This is your you came and she's a big so you could do it. Sarah must like to see. I just take them up Sunday. That's what I told her. That's what she, that's another ass. I want you to feel that ass. I got, but I got one. It's hard, right? Thank you. Right. Can you say nice to Dennis? We got the man. Pretty got the man. Oh, you have the one. We're all very on the same situation. We like. All
right, good morning, everyone. We're gonna start August 11th. Thank you for coming. We got a big day. We got a couple presenters, so we're super excited. We're gonna start off the way I think we always start off. Awesome. So we're gonna start with Peter. What was our second week of the month? We have Peter, and Peter is already in. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Peter. Can you hear us, Peter? Looks like you're on mute.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
So when we asked Peter if he was available today, he said he was working on some stuff or had some ideas. So we're super excited to hear what those are. Can we get him blown up? We may need our
might
local
need
technical
some
expert.
assistance here.
Yeah.
Can you help, Lindsay?
Blend into the wall.
I love that red wall. When did that happen?
And we can't hear Peter. Buying my he's that's you know, it was something you'll never. It's just. Yeah, it's.
That's 49 up.
Hello, hello, you guys can hear us? We can't hear you.
You still can't hear us?
Can you, somebody talk so we can suss out speakers?
Can you guys hear me?
No,
Perfect.
all right, guys, we're getting this figured out.
Are you? No.
That's good.
She's supposed to be. I looked at it, said it, yeah. It's like your heart, basically.
All right, you guys hear us?
Yes, we hear you.
No, why not? It's going on. Why not? Because I already got. Every time we sell up there, somebody, or we do an event, she can try to. So probably here. Maybe I go down so. And you're only 3 years. She's actually wanted about this. Your territory. Your territory, but it is pricing. I'm trying to do what's. When did you, so it's kind of just like, you know, it's so much harder, it's so easier, just. Yeah, yeah. Don't call me. That you made just.
I'm trying to do what Lindsay did last time and just.
Yeah, if you can just put a note on that. And then.
Peter, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, let's just go with this then.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
The question we don't have exclusive time was right. We don't take
All right, Peter, are you ready?
Yeah, can you guys hear me though?
Can everybody kind of hear? We're doing the best we can with our technical difficulties. All right, Peter, I think everybody can hear. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, great. So, I want to start with, a typical realtor phenomenon, which is that in August, people start to feel a little tired, or the market slows a little bit, or it gets hot out. Oh, it's been hot out. And there's a lot of kind of like realtor downshifting that goes on. I just want to talk about energy and reality, and how energy and self-leadership impact your business. And so I want to start with a quick quote, and this won't be a long one, guys, but I want to start by a quick quote. I think it was Morgan Housel that wrote it, that said, we judge everybody else by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. And so what that means effectively is that we hold people to a higher standard, the standard of their activities, but we hold ourselves to a lower standard, and that is of our intentions. Because we can all have good intentions, but if we don't do anything, then ultimately we're functioning at a lower standard, and we're giving ourselves grace in that we are permitting ourselves, we are approving of ourselves only by our intentions and not by our actions. And judging yourself by your intentions yields underperformance for whatever measure you have for your own personal performance. And so the bridge between your action, your intentions, and your actions is this concept of self-leadership. Do you choose to lead yourself in the pursuit of your intentions, or do you choose not to lead yourself and permit yourself, hold yourself accountable only to your intentions? Does this concept make sense? I can't hear or see anybody. Does this concept make sense? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So if you guys agree that that is true, that the difference between your intentions and your actions is how you choose to lead yourself on a daily basis, then I want to talk about putting yourself in a place where it's easier to lead yourself correctly. It is difficult, it can be difficult for a lot of us, especially if we haven't built the habit, to put ourselves into action and lead ourselves well doing things that can be difficult. And that requires energy, and it requires discipline. The thing that I want to share with you guys is that if you don't have the habit built to lead yourself well and take responsibility for your goals, sitting around at home is not going to solve for it. Because when you sit at home, you have the comfort of only judging yourself by your intentions. And that's why I think it's so important that if you're going to lead yourself well, you need to put yourself in places, real physical places, that are going to set you up for proper and improved self-leadership. You know, a lot of people wonder how it is that the Chabris Group consistently puts up hundreds and hundreds of transactions every year, and there's a lot to it. But one of the core pieces of it is that every single agent, when they starts on the sales floor 5 days a week and gets into the habit of leading themselves well and doing the work. And I think one of the challenges with being a real estate agent is that there's nobody there around you. There's no pressure, there's no commitment to put yourself in a place where you must lead yourself well, that supports strong self-leadership. It's kind of funny when our agents finish their first, what we call our first tier, their first roughly 18 transactions with them, they then earn the right to not have to come into the office anymore. And that's great. But the funny thing is, guys, when any of our OG agents or our top producing agents start to slide in their production, they immediately come back to the office and they start doing lead gen with the newbies, because they know that's the place where they can be productive. They're not distracted by other things. They can't judge themselves by their intentions. They have to put themselves in a place of productivity that encourages them to lead themselves well. And so the first question I want to ask you guys is simply, are you putting yourself in a place that supports proper self-leadership? If the answer is you're hanging around at home in your underwear watching TV until 11 o'clock, or scrolling social media for hours on end? The answer to that question is no. And I'm willing to bet it shows up in your pipeline or lack thereof. So I've heard recently that the market center is low energy. I find this, I actually find it to be funny because the tonality in the market center energy is low is that it's the market center's fault, which I think is hysterical. The market center, guys, is a platform for productivity. But if you're hiding behind your intentions at home, instead of putting yourself in a productive area where you've got to lead yourself better, and that is putting yourself in a place where you need to bring energy around the things that matter for your business, you kind of need to look at the mirror and say, well, if me and all of my colleagues are just hanging around at home, passing time scrolling on social media and not leading ourselves well, you kind of can't put the blame on the market center, can you? Each one of us holds potential for far greater production than we're experiencing today. A friend of mine, Jordan Freed, says that your production level is your potential minus your interference. And when you sit at home and you don't do the things that you need to do, you've put yourself in an environment that creates interference from you reaching the highest level of your potential. And so I want to challenge each person in this room. If you're not happy with where you are in your production, if you're not happy with the seasonality, I'm sorry to hear it, but you have a choice. You can put yourself, you can keep doing what you're doing and keep getting a consistent result, or you can choose to remove the interference of complacency, which is exactly what you're experiencing if you're not putting yourself in a place of productivity. And the place of productivity is in the market center, surrounded by other agents who are choosing better self-leadership and better production than the complacency and apathy of convenience. That's my message for today.
Very good. Did you hang up?
No, I'm here.
Okay, did we just hang up?
Mic drop.
Peter, it was a while ago, but I was a much younger man and I was unemployed, and the number one recruiter in the country said that if you're unemployed and you're looking for a job, your job is to find a job.
Yeah.
And he said you need to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you need to get in business clothes, and you need to work from 8 to 5 to find a job. He said that's the best way to find a job. And not to trump anything you said, Peter, but that's basically what you just told us. If you don't have any business, get up, get dressed, come in here and find business.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Peter. We always
pleasure.
appreciate it.
You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Any questions real quick? Any questions real
sure.
quick for Peter? Comments?
Add to it just briefly, because it was one of our original conversations for me today was about the culture and the office and spending time here. And while my presentation is not so much about that, initially what I was telling Patrick was that when I came to Keller Williams, we opened an office in Oxford, and I went to the office every day. And I didn't go from 14 million to 22 million because I just had more referrals and did something magical on social media. I actually went to the office and I made calls every day. And it makes a huge difference to be around people, to focus on your job. I also get up every day and get dressed. It's the first thing I do, say, all right, I'm going to work after I work out or do whatever I have to do. But like I do the same thing. I get up, I get dressed, whether I have an appointment or don't, because my hope is that somebody calls and I got to jump out the door and go meet somebody. So I second what he said about coming to the office.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Peter. Thanks again,
All
man.
right, guys. Thanks for your time. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
See ya.
I'm just gonna close this. No? Oh, because of other people that are on. Okay, great. All right, you're gonna run it, correct?
I will run.
All right. Alyssa's gonna run it. All right. So now we kind of go into what we've got coming up. This is Karen Prohl. Karen Prohl has been with Keller Williams since 2003, so 23 years. She's out of Columbus currently, but she's been with Keller Williams at several different locations. So she's gonna come October 8th and do a class for us right here in our market center. So please put that on your calendar. I'm sure it'll be a great event. Birthdays. Travis, I feel like we've celebrated you twice now. Didn't we celebrate you last week? Is the 10th?
It was yesterday.
You
I know.
know, he's worth celebrating.
Yes. I think we've mentioned it multiple times.
Emily, nice work. Nice work. All right,
Birthday.
so we got a couple birthdays this week, couple more coming up here soon. All right. All right, bucket fills, anyone? So as we all know, Lauren is no longer with us, so Lindsay is creating the slides, so I want to thank Lindsay for putting all of our slides together. And then obviously Lindsay and Melissa for picking up all of the slack that the DFI does. Melissa is actively recruiting, hiring, interviewing, whatever we want to call it. Have somebody that you think would be interested in the position, please talk to Melissa about that specific candidate.
The one thing I will say is they have to know how to use Canva.
Okay.
Okay, just make sure
Yeah.
because that is something that is 100% needed.
Okay.
Yeah. If we just wanted a pretty face, I would sit at the front desk all the time, but we need somebody who knows Canva.
Question is, like, would you consider somebody who has, used things, platforms like Canva, because Canva's really not that hard to
It's not
learn.
that hard. We just have to have somebody
Who's got
understands it, who
yeah,
has the,
insight into that. Got it.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Good question.
All right, anyone else on bucket fills? No?
Kendall at Bucketville, she's always cleaning up in the kitchen. I know a lot of food goes to her chickens too, but she's always cleaning up.
on Fridays.
She's wiping down the counters and stuff.
Yes.
Yes,
So
thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you.
you doing that, because I know we can all be a little lazy in there. and
Yeah,
Everybody cleans up after themselves,
I
so.
do eat lunch in there, so I
I'll give
appreciate
her
you cleaning up after me.
I have some bucket fills. I'd just like to thank William and Shannon for helping out at the front desk, and Mika's been in here as well, so we have had coverage. And then Kendall again for just, asking. She's trying.
I'll be there. Going out of town.
But thank you guys so much. It's very helpful to have somebody in the front desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Are you interviewing actively? Are there people that have come through and?
I've had a couple of interviews, and then I have two that I'm working on right now. I've called about 7 people, so.
Okay.
So it's
Do
a
you
slow
feel like it's
process.
somebody that would be in a younger generation since the role requires more
Not
social media?
necessarily,
No?
yeah,
Okay.
we have some people that have just kind of done it,
Okay.
a little bit more side work, but are very used to it. and
Okay.
It would be fine,
Okay,
so, yeah, not ruling anybody out,
okay, good. I've got, yeah.
Unless they don't know Canva.
unless they don't know Canva or
Yeah.
something of the sort.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Moving on. All right, so this is our cultural piece. The MVVBPP, mission, vision, value,
Beliefs.
perspective and purpose. So I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you go to our website, well, we have this on our website. We have a wall of values on our website. Talks about our culture and our values and what it means to be here at Keller Williams and so if you ever need a reminder about who we are and what we stand for, got obviously in our ACL, we've got a culture, in our ALC, we've got our cultural committee. So this means a lot to us. So does anybody have anything they want to talk about as far as culture and values that when you think of Keller Williams? All right. Our next one. And maybe going a little fast, because I want to get Missy in with the glitch we had. So here's a little bit of market numbers for July. So closed units, we had 143,901 for the year. Closed volume, almost 50 million. So, and then obviously for the year, almost 300 million. We took on 91 listings, and then a little bit short of 700 for the year. And then we paid out almost 1.5 million in commission and over 8.5 million on the year. So,
Hey, Patrick,
yes,
are those with the Shabri Group?
yes, it's everyone.
Do you guys ever separate out what we
I
do
can.
and like, cause it'd be nice to know what we do outside of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the difference.
Yeah.
Going back to a little bit of our culture here, obviously the forest fires have hit, what is it, mainly Idaho, Montana, Northern California, Washington. So if you're able to, please donate to KW Cares. I know there's a lot of people out there struggling right now, losing homes and pretty much everything they have. So, any little bit would help. All right, our guest. Super excited. So, first of all,
Do you want?
no, I'll get it. We're gonna have,
Sure.
we're gonna have Missy come up, you can sit for a minute and we're gonna have her get in, but I first want to have Missy talk to us a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself and,
Well, I'm Missy Breedy. I've been selling real estate since 2002. I got licensed when my first daughter was born. I was living in Oxford, Ohio at the time. We moved there in 1999 and lived there until 2020. So my business started in 2002 and I was a owner of a restaurant with my husband. He's a chef. And so we were really well connected in a small community there. And when I decided to get licensed after Cora was born, it was one to get away from my husband and 60 hours a week and just do something different. And the first question people ask in real estate is, you got to work nights and weekends. Are you okay with that? I'm like, been doing that for a long time. I'm good with it. So the schedule worked out well. And my husband has always been super flexible to help. If I need to take off, if I need to work nights, he came home from the restaurant. If I was working the days, he was home. So had a lot of flexibility. We have moved to Cincinnati in 2020, so our kids could start high school, and we also have a business down here. So he was tired of commuting after 9 years. And I said, well, I'll start commuting. So I kept most of my business in Oxford because I'd already been selling up there for almost 20 years. And it makes a lot of sense when you sell that long. People call you, which is a realtor's dream. So it's been my biggest challenge in the last few years has been to try and pick up more Cincinnati business. Fortunately, my age group is retiring or empty nesting. So I have a lot of people I can reach out to that I went to high school with in Cincinnati. So I've been trying to work on that, really focus on that this year.
very good. And then I know you have something to share. So what is the method behind your madness? What drives you to do what you do and put up the type of numbers that you do?
So the interesting part about my business is until I came to Keller Williams, I didn't have a database. So almost 20 years of business from 2002 until 2024. I ran everything on a homemade spreadsheet and I, drove the neighborhood. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to call them. They bought a house 5 years ago and I haven't reached out in 3 years. Like it was deplorable, like embarrassing, right? So I had green for like, they're coming on the market. I had yellow, they were pending, red for they sold. And I put them in files for 2017, 2018, 2019. And so when I came to Keller Williams, I was like, what's a database and how does it work? And literally had to upload like 8 years of spreadsheets. So if you ever feel behind, imagine putting like 1,000 people into a database after years of owning a business. So it's really kind of fascinating. My madness is just, I'm a grinder. I never had an assistant. This is the first year I've had an assistant. And I hit that ceiling of 14, 15 million. I was just like, I can't do anything else. I don't have the time. There's just, what else can I do? But, try and keep grinding. And so I've concentrated a lot on the systems. Obviously, I now have a health score of probably 65, 70 on a database. So I've got a lot of people in there with a lot of information. And I make 80 calls a week. So my primary thing for this year, the last 2 years, has been
Here, let's see, I'll do it.
on money-making opportunities or money-making activities. But really, I keep it simple, and this is my coach's recap. I'm in MAPS coaching, and that was something new also to me starting in 2025. And we do this every week, so it's an accountability piece. And I literally, did I give you my copy? I track my calls. My goal is 80 a week. My touches, the social media mailers I track, and a listing appointment set, buyer's appointment set, listings taken, buyer signed, closed units pending, and my GCI. Honestly, this accountability has kept me much more focused on my daily activities and my time blocking and what I'm going to actually put my energy into. So, but what I wanted to kind of talk about today was, besides like coming to the office, because that made a huge change in my productivity, is everybody does get frustrated this time of year. Well, people get frustrated all year, right? It's a hard market. I've spent a lot of years in markets like this. This is not new to me after 23 years. I made it through the Great Recession. I worked through harder markets than this, but this is kind of what it looks like. So what I wanted to talk about was something I learned at a retreat this year, which was called, it's after a book, The Gap and the Gain. Has anybody read it? Okay, well, I'm gonna put it on your list, and I have 3 to give away. The only thing I ask, since there's so many of you, if there's more than 3 that want them, is find somebody that wants that after you, read it and pass it along. Like I don't keep a lot of books in inventory. I like to read them and share them physically. And then I'd like to just mention this. So when you get frustrated, a lot of it has to do on our, excuse me, I'm a terrible speaker.
Great. Awesome. Brenda here is fine.
The gap is what we unfortunately do as high achievers, is we always talk to ourselves in our mind and in the mirror about what we're not doing right. And what marker we missed this month, right? So if you look at my sheet, this is April 28th. If you notice, I had 7 closing units. I had 6 in my first quarter. My first quarter sucks. For me, it really sucks. 6 might be a lot for you. Hang in there. But this was like a peak for me of thinking about the gap. If I want to do 100 units this year, how the hell am I going to do that? And I have 6 in the books in 3 months. So if you look at my notes, my main topic to my coach was, what am I missing? What am I not asking? Forward to backward, getting a little frustrated here in a way I have never been. So in 23 years of business, in April, I'm going, oh my God, this is terrible. What am I not doing? What am I not doing? And what did I miss? What marker did I miss? And that's the gap in leadership and in ourselves. We're always looking at like what we're supposed to do and then what we didn't do. Now the gain is actually looking at it the opposite way. It's saying, wait a minute, I did some work. What did I do? Look, I have 0 transactions with exclamation marks. I was so mad because I had 0 transactions in that week, or closed units. But I had a lot of gains. I made 65 calls. What I didn't write down is I talked to 65 people and I have 6 listings coming up by the end of the month. And so what I should write down is the gain. What did I actually do right? Because it was more than I did the week before, right? Which means I did a lot, right? I came to the office. I made the calls. I had conversations. I set appointments. I actually was working towards the right things. So my mindset kind of shifted after this retreat June. And I'm just going to read you a couple, like to compare the two in the gap. When we think about ourselves, you say, what I haven't done, how far I am from the goal, what I did, what I don't have, what everyone else is doing, what isn't working, where I should be. So that's the gap mentality. So if you think about how many people said those things to themselves, you do it every day? Do you do it at the end of the month? Do you do it in the week? Whatever it is, what if you could translate those comments to the gain, which is, look how far I've come. Look what I've accomplished. Look what I've learned. What is working? How much have I grown? And who I've become. So just like rephrasing how you're talking to yourself and how you look at your goals and what you did and didn't do during that time can wipe away a lot of that frustration. But more importantly, what it really does is it builds confidence. Right? How much better do you feel when you make those calls and write down check marks, right? Everybody loves a good things to do list, right? But what you don't realize is that when you do those things, you're gaining a lot of confidence. So when I pick up the phone the next week to make 80 calls, I feel a lot better when I realize I talked to 8 people last week and they were receptive. And I think my mindset was shown in a second set of notes. I didn't do the recaps, but it says I call every quarter and they never pick up. And it's working even when it's not working, in all caps. Because all of a sudden somebody will call me and say, hey, I got your message. I wanted to talk to you about something, or I got your newsletter, or they didn't pick up the phone, but 2 months later we had a conversation in person at Kroger's. So like, and they remembering something, you're remembering something about them. So it's working even when you think it's not working, just focus on the game. It's changed my mentality. It makes me feel healthier, you know, like my energy is more positive when I'm making the calls, when I'm talking to people, because I'm like, this is all good. It's all gonna work out. If I don't hit 100 units this year, it doesn't matter. It's what I did do that matters, what those numbers look like, and what I'm trying to look for more joy in my job. So look at it, but get your joy or whatever you're looking for by looking at the positives, looking at the game, because it'll change the way you operate. It'll change the way you walk in this door and interact with people. Again, the confidence piece is so crucial. So.
Yeah.
I guess that's my presentation.
That's awesome. What questions do we have for Missy?
Anything?
I'm kind of curious. I think this is awesome, by the way. I think we all struggle with this. And I think it's super helpful to hear like what you're thinking and how you're changing the thought. I wonder how people that are big hitters keep going. Like how, and I wonder if if you put margin in your schedule, if you just were born that way and you're like, I just want to kill it. I just can't stop myself. Like, because I'm not really wired like that, but I see people that are, and I'm like, what is it about them? You know, where did that come from?
Well, I'm super competitive.
Okay.
So
There you go.
I think that was probably my original, like, the other thing about my no database is I never tracked numbers. I didn't know how much I made at the end of the year until I got my 1099. I mean, I'm like being really raw and honest here. I was just like, I wonder how much money I made this year. And I went into the office and I got my 1099. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't care about awards. I didn't care about being number one, or number two, wherever it was, wherever it landed. None of those things were important to me. It was just I think it was the inner, competitiveness and the drive to be successful. I also come from enough was never really enough mentality with money or with making money, because we owned a restaurant. We never had savings. We didn't have money. We didn't have 529s for our kids. We did all this in our 30s. From 34 to 44, we owned a restaurant. And we started having kids in our late 30s. So, I needed to work. When the Great Recession hit, we closed our restaurant. And I went down 66% in income. So from 2012 to now, it's been a grind. I've been like, oh gosh, I gotta work. But I will say that in the last 2 years of coaching, and again, I hate to sound like a Keller Williams billboard, but I've been with 3 other brokerages. The one thing is what you do every day that makes you more productive. It makes everything else easy. But for me to really go introspectively and think about what I want this for and what I want my life to look like has driven me a lot more the last 2 years than anything else. That's a good word. Thanks for sharing that.
How do you, and when do you turn it off? Like, how do you get obviously you're cranking through 100 transactions. You are all the time, all the time. 100 miles an hour, but how do you?
It's really, really hard for me. I decided to try and take Sundays off this year. This was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing open houses. I gave away all my open houses. I try and spend time with my husband or my family, whoever's in town, because my kids are all in college now or older. But it is really hard. This is the first season of high selling that I have told clients that I have certain hours, that my hours are really 8:30 to 6:30 unless there's emergency or there's something that has to be negotiated, then I'm going to be available. And I've tried really hard to hold on to that, but it's hard. I don't, when I'm around my family, I put it aside. I'm not a person with my phone at the table. But it's very challenging. I can't say I do it all the time. I've been on some vacations where I'll work in the mornings and the afternoons, and some vacations where I just feel completely not engaged in my vacations. It's something I'm probably working on right now.
Do you schedule your vacations early in the year, or is this just where you find gaps in business is where you put it?
It has nothing to do with my schedule, to be honest. I learned a long time ago, you can't schedule your life around closings and business because that always changes. I used to be like, I can't go on vacation at the end of July. I'm gonna have 4 closings. And then they'd all end up in August and I'd be on vacation. So my husband schedules them. He says, let's go do this, or we've got weddings. I don't worry about it. I try and get it covered. I'm going to Europe in September and I'm really working on a no work 12 days. I have an assistant and I've got a transaction coordinator. And so I'm really, like right now, I'm really honing in on that system and how it's gonna look. Good for you. The last time I went on a vacation with no work, I had to go on a boat in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico for 10 days. And I literally gave my phone to my assistant and left. Or to a buyer's agent, actually. So if you ever really want to go on vacation, just take a boat trip, take a sail trip. What up? Go ahead.
So you mentioned earlier, you were looking, you moved from Oxford to Cincinnati and you were trying to find more business in Cincinnati. I've moved from the west side to the east side. What are some things that you would recommend, or that, how do you reach out to find new business in the new, in where your new surroundings?
I start immediately with my community, where I live, with my neighbors, with where my kids came here, went to high schools, so with their school sponsorships, but getting to know people on personal levels. One of the things I did at one of the new high schools is I did the Last Bell Coffee Club. And in the teachers lounge, I put a Keurig and I stocked it every couple weeks. I had somebody there tell me if it needed more coffee. And I had my sign there with a little flyer, Missy's, Last Bell Coffee Club, and just wanted the teachers to know I was, supporting them. I actually remodeled their teachers' room because it was so terrible. I found on Craigslist and brought in these cabinets from somebody installed them for free. So I do a lot of community endorsements, and I just really work closely with the people that are around me so that I can talk real estate all the time. So I'm calling people that live in Cincinnati. I'm in charge of my, embarrassingly enough, not in charge of, but I'm on a committee for my 40th year reunion. So I'm gonna have all the emails come out of my email. So it's easy. I see Frida, your realtor from start to forever. Like they oh, I knew her in high school and she's selling real estate. So just little touches.
Yeah.
And then also just in regards to sponsorship, if you're ever going to sponsor something in the community or you're going to be part of something, you have to be there. Some people just pay, $1,000 to say, I did this for your community, but you have to be the face behind that gift. Because if the person that you gave the check to is there, they're going to tell 5 other people or 100 other people, who knows? But if you're going to go into your community and give back, you need to do it physically and emotionally be there for these people. Like I'm a big part of the Oxford community still, even after I moved away. I'm on a couple boards for the community foundation. I'm in the garden club. I still do all of those things, but I make sure that when I do it, I'm around. I'm a face.
I don't usually speak at these things. Can I get some encouragement?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just feel really like I should say something. So I love Keller Williams, obviously, if you guys know me, you know that. And I don't know any realtors that are very successful that don't have a system that they stick to. And I mean, I think, frankly, Peter's view of that was a little negative this morning. It's not just to pay your bills or because you're supposed to do that to make the market center better. It's because you can live this lifestyle by design that, is the whole bold thing. And I mean, holy cow, I've just seen it happen. So, I mean, I really want that for you. And it's so possible, if you want to be saying, I'm going on a sailing trip for 12 days and leaving my phone someday, you just get a system and stick to it. It just totally works. It really does. So great job.
Systems are changing my business for sure. And I set bigger goals than I ever could imagine from 2 and 3 years ago because the systems that I'm putting in place. I know that I can reach them. So, yeah, I dream big for sure. And, Peter's very transactional. He knows systems inside out. I'm very relational. So our businesses are night and day. But we thrive for the same thing, for the life by design. What do I, my retreat, I'm a member of a group called, Her Best Life. Like, yes.
I listened to the podcast, the
Podcast
Empire
is great.
Builders. Yeah, but you're awesome.
But we're designing lives because we want to, what's our why? What's our motivation? What keeps me doing it every day? I mean, I used to get up, but I always put my work clothes on, but I used to work from like 10 to 3 and think that was a day. And I'm like a 9 to 5 person right now. And that helps me get that Sunday off because I put in the hours to do the little.
So then how do you do your showings?
How do I do my showings?
Yeah.
I do most of them myself. I have,
After you're 9 to 5, right? So people ask for showings after 5.
after 5, no, because I'm 6:30.
Okay.
But, again, that's like what I like to tell people, but if I have to show houses at 7 PM, I will.
Okay.
I had this Sunday, I had to weigh, like, a client changed from Friday evening at 4:45, wanted to work over the weekend, and I already told them I had Sundays off. I said, well, I'd rather actually take Saturday off because my son's going to college. So I'll meet you on Sunday instead. So obviously, super flexible. But yeah, I mean, you do have to go, I also, the best line ever is I already have an appointment at that time. How about these 3 times? And that's just an easy thing you have to learn to say to control your protect your time.
Even if it's an appointment with kids or working out.
Oh, I always tell them I have another appointment. I don't know what for.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling right now because people want to ask me, especially in Oxford where I live, they want to know I live in the community. I'm like, it's none of your business. If you're smart, go look it up. I'm Butler County Auditor. That's exactly where I live. But I don't, I don't have to tell them what my schedule is, what I'm doing, unless I really get to know them and I want to do something with them.
Well, there was an important switching point for me. It was just to be able to say, I have an appointment at this time. I can meet you another time. And it can be working out. It can be like if working out is part of my life and that's part of my schedule, that's an appointment and that's not lying to somebody.
It's not super important. You don't have to work every night. People do really pick up and gain respect for you when you have some of those, parameters. When you say, I can't do that tonight, I've got something really important or another really important meeting going on. I mean, it's also good to know that you're busy. Like, even if you're not busy, then you tell them you've got an appointment, they think you're busy. They need to realize they're not the only person in your life.
All right, anyone
Thank
else?
you so-
Thank you. What your new systems that you put into place, is there one that was like, wow. Really made a difference in my life.
It's really the database. And I have everybody on a quarterly call. Sometimes I kind of skip. I'm just like, they don't want to hear from me again. We had a great conversation, but like Saturday I walked into my golf club in Oxford, still a member. It makes it so weird. But I see a client there who was on my call list and I didn't get to her on that week. And I walk in and she goes, did you hear? And I said, you're moving to North Carolina? She said, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, you just escaped a call from me this week and we're meeting on Thursday. But I was thinking how much easier it would have been if I had made that call to be the first one to ask for the business rather than to show up, at a social place and not know. So it's really about me, it's the calls. And if you don't have a huge database, just make a small goal of adding 3 people a week, 5 people a week, whoever they are. Even if you forget that Aunt Betty's not in your database, add them and send them a note. Introduce your business to them. Just take little steps to build the big business down the road. But the calls matter. I mean, they've changed my business because I didn't call anybody. I just saw them. I always ran into them. Like I was like the Pariah at Kroger's. They'd run away from me down the aisle because I was like, hey, what's on your house? Here comes Missy. They go in the opposite direction. So Like, just talk real estate to everybody. It builds your business faster than you can realize.
All right, anyone else?
Can you talk a little bit more about the benefits that you saw with coming into the office every day?
So I think it's twofold. One, I'm way more focused at a desk. My home office, I just moved it, is a window about that big and it's out to my woods and, in a half acre of green space. And like I'm watching the birds and the storm blew and I'm also like, oh, I gotta get back to work. So obviously distractions help. I will say like for this marketplace, when I do come here to work, I don't avoid it, but I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen area. I come in, I say hi, and then I find a quiet spot and make calls. Or I, work on business, whatever it is, but I never see anybody in this room. If I were in here to do calls or to work, I'd come in here and work. Nobody else was in here. Like, it's hard to make calls in front of other people. I don't really like to do that at my office. And my office is a huge open space like this with 6 desks in it. If we all made calls at the same time, none of us could hear the people we're talking to. So there's lots of little spaces here. I find a nook and corner and just really concentrate on your work. But the second piece is listening to people talk real estate. So if you are in the kitchen and there's other people talking, or if there's 2 of you making calls, just listening to how they talk to people is really beneficial. I've had agents just sit in the room when I'm making my calls to just listen to me have those conversations because you can learn so much. Or when I get a call about an inspection and a new agent was once in the room and he was just like, oh my God, how did you I wish I knew all this. So just listening to people talk real estate is super helpful. So I think those are the 2 pieces about being in the office that are really helpful. You can pick up a nugget of information, or you can learn how to talk about real estate, or you can settle in and get work done.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, great. Thank you, Missy. Yeah. Great job. All right. Do we like having our top agent come in and talk? Great. We'll figure out what we can do the next one. All right, so Maggie, you got a class today? Starting in 7 minutes?
Yep, I'm finishing stuff up right now.
Okay, we'll try to get this, we'll try to get this done and then we can get Maggie. And then, looks like Lindsay has the 10 o'clock class tomorrow on, Agent Financial. And then Tara will be in town to do noon. So we've got a couple classes tomorrow. So if you don't have anything planned in your schedule, once again, want to come into the office and be productive, please come in and join all of our classes. If you know anyone who wants to get into real estate, tonight we have our career night. We're going to start doing this every Tuesday, the second Tuesdays of the month. So you can, somebody calls you, says, hey, I want to be a real estate agent, second Tuesday of every month. We're going to have classes here. We've got 20 people scheduled to come. So hopefully we can get a good room. All right, moving on. This is our donation. This is our culture. We're working with Cincinnati College Prep. So donations can be dropped off at any of the Romano's Pizzas. And we're going to do the happy hour of the 27th. And then I think the handoff though is next week. I'm at Tangy Camp. There's something going on next week.
Monday, we're doing the clap in.
There you go.
Yep.
Clap in. So we'll get more details on that, how that sets out. All right, our next, and then our last, our sponsor for the week. Craig Davis.
Anybody going to Mega Camp? So make sure you get with me. We got a happy hour going on Monday, San Antonio. So it's registration only. So talk about a couple things. We talked about this last week. It was really important, so I wanted to bring it up. What's going on with condos in the world of lending? So as of August 1st, there's no limited reviews for condos anymore. So basically what it means is when we're buying a condo, we're going to deep dive into the financials of the condo, make sure they meet reserve requirements. They don't have any litigation going. So it's really pretty nice condos.
The reserve requirement.
Reserve requirements are changing in January. So right now it's a 10% requirement for reserves for condos, and it's going to 15% in January. That's a big number when you look at some of these condos. Some of the stuff they went more lax on as far as like the ratios, as far as what are rentals, they're a little more lax, they're more concerned with financials than they are with that right now. So that's a win, but probably when we start getting into this right now, we can do 5% down on a conventional condos, 3% down for first-time buyers. If they are not going to be able to pass, the new requirements, then that's going to make them what's called a non-warrantable condo. So we're going to be using other investors for those, and that's going to be probably 20 to 25% down. So it's going to change the dynamics of condo market. So if you got listings, if you got talking to customers that, hey, I got a condo I'm going to be listing in the winter, get them in the market now. So you'll have a better audience, would be my advice. So I'm sure there's going to be some niche lenders, the investors that come into play with some lower down payment requirements in the next 6 to 12 months to kind of fill that gap. There always is. So another thing we just we're rolling out right now. Obviously the interest rate market's not where we want it to be right now, right? So with the 2-1, 3-1, 1-1 buy downs, we've always been made it had to be paid by the builder or the seller, right? So we have an investor now that will allow us to do buy downs, and it can be funded by it can be split with buyer and the seller. So this is a great thing because now we can start negotiating. Let's just say on a $300,000 loan, we can do on a conventional buy down. Let's say the rate is 6.75. We can do a 2-1 buy down for like just under $7,000. We split it between the buyer and the seller. They come with, $3,500 to close, and they can get a starting interest rate of, 4.75. So that might be a big win for some people. We can talk about options when we're talking about financing. Does it make more sense to do a long-term buy down? Or we do short-term and we say, hey, we're going to roll the dice the next 24 months that we'll be done with this war, and interest rates and gas prices will go down, right? So I would hope that would be a safe thing to assume, but we don't have the crystal ball. So, it's a conversation between me and the buyer, and making sure what they're comfortable with is what we'll do ultimately. I mean, when rates were at 9% on a 30-year fixed, then they went to 8%, everybody refinanced, then they went to 7%, then they went to 6%. So the market dictates that there's going to be savings. No matter what, we're going to take advantage of it. But that might be a good opportunity for you to have some conversations with people, and we'll have them up front with people as far as, hey, they're not uncomfortable with payments and they're getting a little gun shy. Let's get them over the top on that, right?
And that works for, experienced buyer sellers, like sellers with a ton of equity right now that are gonna get a loan. They're like, ugh, that rate. And so like we had a deal where came in and said, let's do a buy down, and then the number made sense to them. So it's not just for like first time buyers that are worried about the rate, it's how the rate affects your monthly payment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we had a lot of people that have 4s on their interest rate and they want to downsize, or they want to get into a bigger house, and that was the case there. And I'm like, oh, 6.75 when I got a 4.25 or a 3. So we just, whatever we can do to lower the stain of that number, for sure. Any questions on anything else that's going on? Awesome. Oh, I got one more thing. I forgot about this. So I'll be in Orlando. I'll be in San Antonio for Mega Camp. I'll be in Orlando at the end of the month, finish up my certification to be a John Maxwell coach. So very excited about that. So then I'll start bringing some classes to the Market Center. So
Great.
Awesome mission. Thank
Thank you, Greg. Also want to thank Greg for lunch. And then last thing I need before we get Maggie up here, does anybody have any I needs? Yes.
I have a listing coming up. in
Okay.
Houston. So if anybody in the Market Center is buyers,
What's the listing look like?
4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths,
Okay,
and listed at 530.
5:30. Okay, Mason? Anyone?
I've got a listing coming up in Norwood on Glenside Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, two full and 1.5. It's being sold as is. It was a parent's home. It's been well loved and well cared for. It's just, she doesn't want to do any work to it. I think we're gonna try it like 235, 250. Price, it's in a good neighborhood. Good street. I've got the commercial. If anybody has a commercial buyer, we've got a car lot from Corner Barrelman and Carthage. Currently operating as a commercial business there with 2 bays with a lift gate. The roof needs work. We accommodated that for price. That's still available. And then. Okay. Another one, but I don't know if it's not.
Go on.
At the end of last week, the 112 acre farm in Hillsborough went up for 1.5 million. We have 2 houses, a tobacco barn, big oversized detached garage, some lean-tos, some sheds, pond. It's beautiful. So if anyone has someone looking in Hillsborough for a farm, it's there and you can do so much with it. It also has a mobile home as well for somebody who works the farm and potentially. I also have coming soon today, Ridgecrest in Miami Township. It's a 3-bedroom, adorable ranch. It's an estate situation as well. So if anyone's got anyone, it's the same situation as Celeste where the owner took care of it and he passed away. So family's selling that. And then I have a 3-and-2 ranch coming up in Goshen next week. So no acreage in Goshen. I wish.
What was the acreage on?
I'm also personally looking for a short-term stay, 2 to 3 months. I don't want to sign a lease. So if anybody knows of anybody that's willing to rent to a very clean realtor and an old lady, 2 to 3 months, that'd be great.
All right. Anything else?
2
Anything-
books to give away.
2 books.
I'll take one.
All right. Gotta order some more.
No shit.
That's all right.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Craig, once again, we got lunch outside. What do we got, Craig?
We got Potbellies today.
There we go. Grab some sandwiches. Thank you guys all for coming. Melissa and I are here if you need us. Have a good rest of your week.